iLEAD presents to you Future Vista New Age Careers. These panels will discuss the changes and growth in the respective sectors along with the emerging new age career opportunities. This will help our young minds to choose the right career path for themselves and also the industries to build new, enthusiastic entrepreneurs and a passionate workforce, paving way for pioneering innovations and futuristic ideas.
As data is the new wealth, data is getting breached, very frequently creating financial, privacy, and security issues throughout the world. Cybersecurity is all about cyber defense, that is, securing and preventing data from unauthorized access, and cyber forensic, that is, finding the cure after a cyber attack. Cybersecurity market in India is expected to reach rupees 290 billion by 2025. As a report by Michael Page, India will face a shortage of 1.5 million cybersecurity professionals by 2025.
Please, guys, you can do better than that. A bigger round of applause. Thank you. Next, we have Mr. Sudip Paul.
How many of you have a smartphone? I'm sure you would be wondering why sir is asking so much easy question. Guys, again, I can hack your smartphone. You just saw a demo of Saket Modi cracking an Android phone in less than 10 minutes or 10 seconds. Fair enough? Yes? So if I say, if you are not using your smartphone and you are not using your Aadhaar card. So how many of you have Aadhaar card? Let me check once. Okay, everyone has? Fantastic. So how many of you are also aware that Aadhaar card data was also leaked? So the best part is, ideally, we should avoid all the phones. Yes or no? Right? If it can get hacked, email ID can be hacked, phone can be hacked, Aadhaar card is already hacked. If you have shared your number, probably we might hack it. So what should we do? So friends, we all know that for their every problem, we have a solution, right? And considering this, in this current digital era, where cyber security is one of the most important part, don't you think that this is very, very important as an individual as well as an organization? So today what we are going to do is we are going to go through an interesting session, and we have great panelists and they will be going to help us in answering many questions. Have you ever been hacked, or have you ever come across a scenario where somebody had hacked you, or your cousin, parents, friends, or if you like to share an experience? Sir, mic is there.
This dates back to year 2008. I used to work in UK at that point of time in one of my one of our end clients' office. And at that time, our salary in UK used to get credited to HSBC, Grosvenor Place branch. Now, one fine evening, not so fine, I got a call in a little bit of Scottish accent that, have you made a transaction of around 8,000 pounds? And I said that if I made a transaction, my account will be empty. I mean, it will be negative balance. So they said that, there's a lady, she's saying that you immediately block your account and everything. So I immediately rushed to the nearest HSBC branch and blocked it. What I realized was, in the afternoon, usually what happens is, at that point of time, HSBC used to never ask for the full password.
Right.
It used to give you a grid. And based on, just like what you have at the back of your, So I blocked, and then they reset and everything was saved. But there is an interesting catch to it. To open up everything in normal fashion, so there was about 2 days I could not do any transaction. So I had to then make a phone call to open it up. When I made a phone call, somehow the accent on the other side caught me because it sounded quite familiar. And after a few conversations, I simply spoke in Bangla. By any chance, callটা কি কলকাতায় গেছে? And then the other party says, yes sir, this is Kolkata. So I am calling from UK. This is Kolkata, but we are not allowed to speak in Bangla, sir.
Wow.
And then what I realized was that the call actually got here to the Kodunamoi HSBC office. So they were handling all the security issues from here. So that was a unique kind of experience. So I have been, yes, hacked, and not only once. So once in London and once in Paris. So both the times. Second time for credit card. So that I'll tell in another
So I'm
occasion.
sure many of you would be able to relate it. So over to you, sir.
This incident, I think many of you can relate to. So again, one fine morning, not evening, one fine morning, I was getting ready to come to office. That was in 2011. And I got a call from one of my senior friends. He was quite frantic. And he started, in a very frantic voice. Sudip, are you okay? Where are you? Are you in India? Are you in Calcutta? What happened? Shubodha, I'm absolutely fine. No, somebody, I'm getting message from Yahoo Messenger that, you are stuck up at Rio de Janeiro and you lost your passport and you need money. That fellow is asking for money. So I got quite tensed hearing that. And again, my then boss called me, Sudip, where are you? Are you in office? What exactly are you? So I told him I'm getting into office. So what happened? So again, he also explained me the same thing, similar kind of thing. Somebody, opened the Yahoo Messenger, messaged him that, as if me and asking for money, as if, I've got stuck in Rio de Janeiro, lost my passport, lost money, everything, that kind of thing. Okay. So now this is a fact. But then instead of, me narrating the story for the next step, what do you think I could have done or I had done? Any idea? Anything is fine, right? We are having a chat here, right? No formal sessions, no class. So the immediate reaction, so let me give the immediate reaction that I had, that everyone else would have gone through. I also got panicked, right? I got, I started making calls frantically. I did not know what to do. I got tensed. And once you get tensed, you do not know, your logic doesn't work. And you don't know what exactly to do, whom to contact, what steps to follow. You have all those steps mentioned for the security threat and analysis and whatever. But you can't follow those. But then gradually I got my calm back. I got myself composed. And what I could have done, what I have done. So I tried doing that. So I had been trying at that time, again frantically, from multiple systems, trying to get into my account and changing password, but I couldn't do. That fellow changed my Yahoo password, and that fellow from Yahoo changed my Google password.
So I'm sure many of you could relate yourself now in a situation like this.
Am I taking too long?
No, that's you are already on
Fine.
time.
So what could be the next step? For the next few hours, I couldn't do anything because and on my mind I did not have any idea whom to contact. So then gradually I remembered or recollected that I must contact the customer support of Yahoo, who can help me. And also I can ask for legal help or help from the authorities. Authorities meaning here whom? Cyber cell of the police. So I have one friend in Lal Bazar, not in cyber cell directly. So I contacted him. Through him, I got the contact of the cyber cell numbers in Salt Lake, and I contacted them. I'll come to that part little later. But when I contacted Yahoo, actually they were very prompt helping me. What they did then, they took control of my account of everything, and they immediately cut that off, that fellow. Okay. But what had happened by that time, I lost all my mails, I lost all the data, entire data. So what I had to do, I had to had a conversation with the Yahoo. I had to explain, I had to give other credentials, other validations, and they helped me getting the data back from their backup. So that was one process. Cybercell, they what they did some background checks. Said they did many things at the background, but let me not go through those. They told me something about this attack. Now let me ask you back, what kind of attack are these? What had happened there? What that person did with my account? Are you aware of a term called Nigerian
Scam?
Nigerian scam? So this was a typical Nigerian scam. Okay, so one fellow would there are some terms as hacking, phishing, malware. There is some terms called masquerading as well, right? Somebody wearing your identity, pretending to be you, and presenting you to others, right? So these are some of the unique experiences I had then. Authentication, masquerading, right?
How do organizations safeguard their digital asset in the current scenario when everything is at risk? Ransomware attacks, cybercrime attacks, Nigerian scam. And
You had spoken of the answer a while back.
don't-
Yes, while I think you had while your bio was being said, and I really loved that phrase, which is you turn people from black hat to white hat. And so that is very important for organizations to understand. And in fact, before I comment on that, let me just step back a little and talk about the second thing that we were talking about, the digital age. Why is it important in the digital age? What is the main characteristics of the digital age? In the digital age, we are capturing a lot of data, and he said right now, knowledge is power, right? So data is power. Right now, the most important asset is knowledge and data. And that is something, because we have all gone digital, that is getting accumulated on and on and on. Because of our technological advancements, we can get the data, we can capture the data. For example, let's look at a company such as Amazon, right? Amazon tracks all your movements on Facebook and Instagram and keeps on flashing these ads, right? And don't you wonder that how did Amazon get to know I want to buy that pair of shoes, right? And it's very specific. So data is getting accumulated all the time. And companies can only, when that data gets compromised or is given, what happens? 4 things happen. And that's very important for you to realize this as you grow up as professionals. First, the productivity of the company is affected. Okay? P. Then your reputation and reliability of the company is affected. For example, you've shared some data with Amazon. Would you like it if they went ahead and gave it away to somebody else and they used it, and you got a call from some unknown bank asking you if you want a loan or not? You would not like that. But that is what happens, right? So the reliability gets affected. Next thing, operations get affected. Operations is in day-to-day. There's a process, everything, okay? Process of life, right? Say, for example, in your life, you wake up, you come to college, you do your classes, and you go back. There's a process. So every company has their own process. But when something untoward happens, that process gets affected. And last is F, which is finances. When something untoward happens, of course, your finances get affected and money is lost. Just think of some scam happens and your entire bank account, like he was saying, gets wiped off. So please remember this. When a cybersecurity attack happens, your data is compromised, the 4 key things get affected. PROF. That's what I say. Prof. And when this happens, the entire ecosystem of your company is at risk. So it is extremely important for organizations to protect their digital assets, because the digital assets store and process all the data on which the organization runs. So this forms the crux of any business when you look at it.
So Shanta sir, your take on this?
First of all, we are working on mainly EdTech industries and e-learning protocols. So we are facing the most challenge nowadays, the content security. So people are taking screenshot of our contents. So number of e-learning vendors are available. Even we are trying to implement the DRM security. But most of the cases, in case of the desktop issues, we are unable to do this. In case of mobile applications, you can do some restrictions like students cannot take any screenshot or any screen recorder can be protected. But if you are going to share your any recorded sessions or you are selling your own courses or whatever, so if anyone is not going to pay and they have started capturing the entire content and started distributing in unethical way, so that will be the biggest challenge. Because during the sessions in like pandemics and all in this particular time, so number of organizations have started selling the e-learning courses, but the problem is the content security. So right now we are working on the DRM protection for desktop, but the problem is that number of interviews we are conducting, they are already holding some global certifications on cyber security and ethical hacking, but the problem is that they are not technically sound. They have certifications, but it's like a paper. If you're thinking about that, how to manage the DRM security, but they know what is malware, they know what is vulnerability assessment and penetration testing, but if you ask them, please try to solve, at least give some idea, no. So they have started saying, sir, I studied to clear the examination. That is a different one. But we are facing huge challenges to maintain the digital content. That is a main challenge, because we are preparing number of universities and colleges are developing the digital libraries. So until and unless providing the DRM, then there is no value. Anyone can download the content. Not even download. Just Camtasia Studios and number of screen recorders are available. You just run it. So if you think about to build up your career as InfoSec consultant, try to do some innovation. That can be a good project which you can sow. Or you can build up your own startup also. That I am ready to provide the DRM security. Because security, if you are going to provide in a digital way, so content protections is very important. You must know basic concept of IPRs. Basic idea just. That will be very helpful. Then you will realize the practical problem.
But behind every technology, there is some basic mathematics are involved. Students are actually afraid of those. So why I am just taking that things into picture, because suppose if I only tell about the other, there are many security aspects. So suppose we are only focusing on encryption decryption part, that is the confidentiality part, how to preserve confidentiality. Now in that aspect, so if I write a encryption algorithm, so the main purpose is so that it takes time or ages to decrypt it, what I understand. Now how to write an algorithm so that it is very tough to decrypt? There required some, what we know from our course curriculum, the S-box, the substitution technique, the permutation techniques, and everything that put together you use. So those kinds of algorithm, how actually in your industry, how the algorithms are developed? Is there the knowledge of mathematics, but which stream of mathematical knowledge is needed so that we can develop better algorithms so that it takes time to hack? That's my question actually. Thank you, sir.
First of all, in industry, if you are in security especially, if you are trying to use anything new, it must be standardized, because we are always developing for other customer. Anything non-standard, any non-standard API, which is not endorsed by standardization organizations like say IETF or say IEEE, people are not going to trust, okay? So in industry, mostly the emphasis is on using what is the latest standard that has come up. What are the latest standardized APIs and implement that. Now, question is your implementation may go wrong. So for implementation also there are certification authorities. Now coming to your thing, that is a purely academic interest. And that will be of interest of companies who are shaping this cybersecurity industry. Like some of the companies who are actually shaping it. In such a scenario, you are only concentrating on the crypto, right? There is another part. You put 3,000 locks, but you have to give the key to the other party, right?
Right.
Now locking is very complex, but if the other party has got access to the lock, the key, then whatever complexity you may put, it will be vulnerable. What is most important, and where it is from my practical experience of implementing protocols and designing new protocols, is that this exchange of key between the two endpoints, that becomes vulnerable in many cases. You have put, you have started with a seed, and you have done a very complex, cryptographic logic. But the way you exchange the key, that through traffic engineering or through any man in the middle, that key itself is vulnerable.
I understand. There are many key exchange algorithms, but they actually don't work fine.
Yes.
There is some problems in it.
Or the key transaction is so difficult, you have made it so complex that ultimately the quality of experience of the application deteriorates. So that is where I think, and that is where this internet communication protocol and the vulnerability points that comes up. Okay.
Sir.
First of all, on behalf of Nikhil Bharat SikshaParisad, I would like to give a special thanks to iLEAD for conducting this kind of sessions. And we have attended a number of sessions, but like this one, we have not faced anything like this. That was much more interactive, and students are very cooperative. They have asked few questions which is very relevant to as per the industry standard. So I would like to give the special thanks to iLEAD, and we can expect this kind of sessions in future.
It has been fantastic. As I started with, I feel really happy being here. The environment was really nice. The initiatives are very good. We seldom see such kind of initiative for some of the other organizations. So a very nice initiative that the management, the authorities have taken, and I really appreciate such kind of having such kind of sessions more and more. It gives the opportunity for us to interact with the students, to share the knowledge, to share our experiences. At the same time, for the students, it gives a kind of an opportunity, a flavor about what's happening there in the industry on the other side of the world.
Thank you so much, iLEAD, for giving me an opportunity for being the moderator for this session. And it was a great learning experience, as in we got to learn more from the panelists, like an analogy on how family man and cybersecurity can be correlated. With words like DRM and other, it was overall a fantastic session.
The experience has been excellent, and the response from the students have also been excellent, and thanks to the moderator. And it is good that the institutes are carrying out such interactions, and that helps in building the right kind of future also. So it has been overall very good. Thank you.
Oh, I had a wonderful time. Thank you so much for inviting me. I love interacting with students because, and peers of course, and when we're talking about something that we are all passionate about, there's a twinkle in our eyes, and that makes all the difference. And you know that the conversation that you've had made an impact and added value to someone's life. So this experience was priceless for me. Thank you so much for the honor of having me here.
The session was very knowledgeable, and they explained their experiences. I hope these experiences will help me in the future, and it awakened my interest on the subject.